This episode of the Porsche 944 Challenge is proudly brought to you by Frankie's Sinks and Kitchens. Hi everybody and welcome to Phillip Island for this round of the Victorian Porsche Championship presented by Frankie's Sinks and Kitchens. We've got a great round ahead of us and Chris Lewis-Williams is the man to beat coming into this one. We've seen him earlier in the year taking a few victories and he's going to be one to watch out for. Though we've got to also look out for Cameron Bella and Kane Rose who are going to be out for blood and trying to get past him. Before we take a look at some of the race highlights, let's go down to the pits and have a chat to Phillip Ross with the Frankie Porsche 944. Making a welcome return to the category after a few months away is Phil Ross. Phil, you've dusted the cobwebs off and got this Porsche back out here. How does it feel to rejoin the series?
Yeah, it's been great to get back out again, which is good. I didn't practice yesterday, but came for the qualifying this morning, which is good.
Now, Phillip Island, it must be a good circuit to make a return at. Really enjoy driving this car around here?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's great for corner speed and, they're really good.
Now, you're 14th on the grid. I mean, that's pretty decent considering you've just come back in this morning and strapped yourself in the car. What's the plan for the race now this afternoon?
I just try and move up a couple of positions if I can and just try and hang on.
Yeah. It should be a really good race. I mean, you've got a few guys that you're really going to have to battle with. I mean, what's the mindset and then when you're sitting out on the grid and you're getting ready to go? What are you thinking?
I suppose I'm just probably thinking not to overcook it into the corners and just be smooth is probably the main thing for me.
Now, you also drive the Corvette. You just spoke about it to me before, and that's a very different car to this. What's the differences between the two? I guess what's the major thing you'd say to people that is a difference between the two, especially here at Phillip Island?
I think the Corvette, it's really it's 500 horsepower. It's a 69 Corvette, so you've got a lot of inline straight speed. But coming to the corners, you've really got to try and walk it through the corners a lot more. And with the 944, you've just got the corner speed. If you can keep the car going through the corners, it's the best way to go.
Well, I hope you can keep it going through the corners. I mean, there's a lot of people as well, though, who could put in work behind the scenes and a team behind you that also helps get the car here. Is there anyone particularly you'd like to thank for getting you out here racing in this car?
Probably originally when I got started, I had Spencer Harrison from Triple R, and Spencer's been fantastic for me. He got me started in 911. And then most recently, Cam Bella's been looking after the car, Cam and his father Andy, and they've done a great job. So we just did Bathurst at Easter time, which is a lot of fun.
Well, good luck out there this weekend. I hope it all goes well.
Fantastic. Thanks very much.
There you go. Keep an eye out for Phil Ross here in the Frankie red and white machine. He'll be looking forward to make his way through the pack and get himself dialed back in after a couple of months away. Let's take a look at some of the Race 1 highlights now. Taking a look at some of the Race 1 highlights now for the Porsche 944 Challenge here at Phillip Island, presented by Frankie. 22 cars starting for this one, and absolutely brilliant conditions down at Phillip Island. Often you can see things change in an instant down here, but the guys were rewarded with sunshine for the first race of the weekend, and you can see that really meant they all put the pedal to the metal and tried their hardest in this race. From the outset, it was Kane Rose leading at the front in the Melbourne's cheapest cars Porsche. Right behind him, though, were Cameron Bella and John Stanek, who were just pushing each other so hard. You can see there Bella and Stanek almost touching through turn 3. The rest of the field following through as well, and you can just see everybody trying to settle into position and just get into a rhythm. The Phillip Island circuit rewards consistency, rewards good driving, and having a well set up car here is good for you. Having a look on board here with Roland, he was just pushing a little bit too hard into turn 1 and surfs the car backwards into the gravel trap. A wild moment for him, but he was lucky enough to rejoin without any major damage and would actually make it through to the end of the race in 18th place in the higher depot car. So that was a good one to see. Then take a look at this wild moment. Watch the orange car in front. That's Westaway losing it on the grass on the exit of the southern loop, rotating twice in front of Goddard. Goddard taking great evasive action to the grass, and everybody managing to get past without any sort of issue. Further down, and the Petrusic-Gallagher battle was ongoing. Have a look at this one. Petrusic here pushing really hard with Gallagher in the Aluminium Industries car right up behind him. The two black Porsches going at it. And then further back, there was a few issues happening. You can see here on board with Dylan O'Keefe, and he has Peter James taking to the grass backwards at turn 1. Not the first nor the last car to do that this weekend. Plenty of action down there at the end of the main straight. You had a great battle developing further down through the field as well, with Ross, Lindsay, Doherty, O'Keefe, Goddard, Westaway all involved. Look at all these cars here, all swapping positions almost constantly in the run to the flag. It was just lap after lap, turn after turn, the guys making moves. The front straight here at Phillip Island really rewarding the drafting effect. You can see O'Keefe trying to get in behind Westaway there, who was making his way back up through the field after that earlier spin. Then on board here with O'Keefe, and you can see Chaos in front of him there. Marius Katrina lost it all by himself in turn 1. You can see the guys ending up in the sand. Everybody checking up behind it, unfortunately. Phil Ross getting involved with that one as well. We've got a replay here from on board with Phil Ross in the Frankie car. You can see there that Katrina goes past him, loses the car into turn 1. Ross tries to take evasive action, and bam! Straight into the rear quarter. Those two cars would not participate any further in the race, though both would get back out there for the rest of the weekend. Then into the final stages, we had this awesome battle. 5 cars, Howe, Westaway, Smith, Petrusic and Bella, all battling for first place. Lewis Williams and Kane Rose had cleared out in front, but these guys, this was still unresolved. Cameron Bella had got himself caught up in the middle of it. Good to see Graham Smith having a great run as well. But out in front, nobody could catch Kane Rose in the Melbourne's cheapest cars Porsche. He had amassed over 10 seconds over Chris Lewis Williams behind, absolutely braining the field in this first race of the weekend, coming across the line for a very comfortable victory. So overall, there's our top 10 result. Kane Rose leading home Chris Lewis Williams, Richard Howe, Tony Westaway and Graham Smith rounding out the top 5. We'll be back after the break with more action on Blendline TV. Welcome back to Blendline TV, where we've got the Porsche 944 Challenge presented by Frankie Kitchens here from Phillip Island. 21 cars taking to the grid for this second race of the weekend, with the Frankie car of Phil Ross missing after that accident we saw earlier on in race 1. The guys were repairing it and it would be back on circuit for race 3. You can see overcast conditions for the morning's racing, a bit of fog hanging around the circuit, though that would start to clear up as the day progressed, but the cooler conditions and damp bits of track would produce some interesting racing in this second race of the weekend. You can see here Bella, Smith and Howe all going side by side through turn 3. The race was on. And then just watch here as we pan around with Gallagher. You can see there contact up over Lukey Heights for a few of the guys, and Petrusic on the wet grass, unable to stop, and bang, straight into the tyre wall. An unfortunate end to his weekend. You can see here Smith and Westaway Smith and Howe just touching each other slightly over Lukey Heights, and unfortunately for Petrusic, once he was on the grass, he was a passenger to the end. One man making his way through the field quite well was Stanek. He was on a charge and passing multiple cars across the laps. You can see here down the outside of Goddard on the main straight. He got a great run out of the final corner to make that move. Westaway was following him through as well, and Goddard found himself under huge pressure from Westaway and Imre as they came around through Honda and down out to Siberia. Those guys, the battle was just intense. Stanek would not let up, passing O'Keefe, getting up behind Gallagher and pushing him hard over Lukey Heights. These 3 guys, though, would spend a few laps together, as O'Keefe especially, the young bloke in the Porsche, just pushing hard and staying with Stanek. He was doing very well for one of his first outings in the category, and you can see here around the outside of Gallagher using the draft of Stanek, some great racing. Gallagher tucked in behind him through turn 1, and then in the run to turn 2, O'Keefe, just pushing slightly too hard. You can see up behind Stanek, and he grab a gear, pinch the rear brakes and just flick himself around. Light contact between Gallagher and O'Keefe. Both cars would continue on. Gallagher would retire from the race, but both cars would actually be repaired for the third race of the weekend, as it was not too much damage, mostly cosmetic for both of them. Unfortunate result there, but it was great racing up until that moment. Other great racing going on throughout the field was this battle between Lewis Williams, Bella and Westaway. The battle for second place in the race. You can forget Kane Rose. He'd pulled out yet again to what would be another comfortable victory, but Westaway was not done with here. All over the back of Bella, both of them keeping Lewis Williams honest, and it was just great to see these three cars going toe to toe. Bella has really come on strong this year, and to be fighting with our 2013 champ, you can just see he's all over the back of him, really doing well, and these three guys were just inseparable coming around the final lap. Westaway started to drop off a little bit. I guess the tyre condition and the life in the car was not going as well as he would like, but Bella really wanted to get second place away, forcing Lewis Williams to defend down into MG. He'd do well though and hold on to second place in the race, as Bella just ultimately ran out of time through the final complex. He was holding on, trying to just stay with him, coming through the final corner now, and you can see that Bella had a great run onto the straight. He was closing, just not quite close enough to Lewis Williams coming onto the straight for the final time. Kane Rose would cross the line for a comfortable victory. Second would go to Lewis Williams, third to Cameron Bella, fourth Tony Westaway, and fifth Vince Mesiracha. That would round out the top five for the second race of the weekend. After the race, I caught up with O'Keefe to get his thoughts on a fun but difficult first weekend at Phillip Island with the Porsche 944 category. Well, 2 races into this weekend, we come down to have a chat to Dylan O'Keefe. Dylan, it's your first time with the Porsche 944 Club here at Phillip Island. How's it been going for you? We know you had a spin in the last race, but it really seems like you've been coming on strong in this car.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a weird track for me. Like, it's really high speed compared to Winton where I've been testing. So coming here, it's a bit difficult being this fast around the track. Slowly getting the hang of it, and in that previous race, I was getting up to speed quite quick, and had a spin, which is all part of it, but a bit of a shame.
Yeah, these things happen with the spin and stuff. I mean, I guess the takeaway is you were having such an awesome battle there inside the top 10 comfortably. Do you really feel confident now in the car, especially around this place? As you said, it's a pretty difficult track.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm coming to terms with it now, and I can start to push harder and find where the limits are and stuff like that, so it's been good.
Now, you've got the third race of the day ahead of you. Are you likely to get back out there with this damage? The team obviously working hard behind us.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely get back out there and have another crack. I think I'm starting 16th down the back, but yeah, we'll slowly get through.
It should give you a good experience, though, on overtaking people and actually trying to keep fast as you try to get past people on this track.
Yeah, gaining momentum and just catching on to the lead group, I guess. See how we go.
Now, I know there's a lot of people who put in hard work, especially the team. Is there anyone you'd like to thank for getting you out here this weekend?
I'd just like to thank my main sponsors, All Star Equipment Sales, Dexian Supply Centre, Moore & Associates and AFS.
Well, good luck in the final race. Hopefully we see you moving forward, and who knows, maybe there'll be a few wins later on in the year.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you have it, Dylan O'Keefe. He's got the Porsche under repair at the moment. We got Ibra running past being a bit loud, but he's got the Porsche under repair at the moment. He should be out for race 3. So look forward for the young blood coming through the field. Welcome back to Blendline TV for this third race of the Porsche 944 Challenge at Phillip Island Grand Prix Circuit, presented by Frankie Kitchens. 19 cars starting this final race of the weekend, with the war of attrition meaning that a couple of guys didn't quite make it through to the final. Hopefully they'll be back out next round out for the final race of the year here again at Phillip Island. But for now, we've got this last race of the weekend, and you can see that these guys were just all out pushing as hard as they could for this race. It was time to gather points. The championship is reaching the critical moment, and you can see there Emery just forcing Marusacha wide around through the southern loop there, down into Stoner Curve and Honda Corner. These guys were all over each other, everybody trying to make as much ground as they could in the early stages. Emery down the inside of Westaway. That would turn into the outside move, and he wouldn't quite make it around the outside at Honda. Westaway cannily up to the idea and just blocking him out there. You can see feeding him into a little bit of grass as they made their way out to Siberia for the first time. These cars immaculately presented, looking so good out on track. And then Stanek would have to go up against Emery yet again, around through Hayshed. He would be forced behind the young driver Emery, really putting in a great show after finishing in around the mid-pack earlier on in the weekend. He'd had a few issues, and it was good to see him having a great run in the final race. Further down the field, and you can see here O'Keefe and Gallagher had found themselves together again as well. O'Keefe mirroring Gallagher's progress through the pack. Both cars repaired after that first or second race contact earlier on. Down through the field, and you can see here we had Roland, Katrina, James and Rofe engaging in a thrilling battle. These guys passing each other fairly regularly as they tried their best to make up position. It would all come to a head here as Katrina ran wide through turn 1. That gave Roland the incentive down into the southern loop at turn 2. He took the inside line, probably not quite seeing what each other was going to do there, and unfortunate contact put them both into the gravel trap. Katrina and Roland, though, would both manage to finish this race. A little bit of light panel damage and they would continue their way around, though Ken Roland would later retire with a bit more damage to the car. Looking back at this front pack again, and Stanek, Westerway, Mr. Archer and Smith were going at it. They were just hounding each other the whole way. Probably the best person in this scenario was Smith. He was just watching the guys in front. Stanek and Westerway battling hard for position. They were not letting each other go. And then the other Westerway was in a battle as well. He was up against Dylan O'Keefe. You can see here O'Keefe goes to the inside, trying to make the move stick. The pair would run side by side for much of the first half of this lap, just not willing to give an inch as they came around through turn 1. Eventually O'Keefe had to give up and sit in behind Westerway. He would mirror him to the line and eventually get the upper hand in that battle, passing Westerway around the back of the circuit in what was quite a good move really in the end. O'Keefe showing his racecraft is coming on strong, and he'll be someone to watch out for next year as he continues his racing development and continues racing Porsches. It'll be good to see him hopefully with the 944 category again, probably trying to give Westerway a bit more of a run for his money and even moving up to battle with Bella and Lewis Williams, Kane Rose at the front. Speaking of those front runners, and Cameron Bella and Chris Lewis Williams were going toe-to-toe again. Cameron Bella lost out to Lewis Williams in the early stages. He'd taken the position away and Williams managed to get back past, and then from then on Cameron Bella, all he could do was just sit in behind and hope for the mistake from Williams. These cars so evenly matched. It was great to watch them going round. Bella constantly in the draft but unable to make that critical move to take second place away in the race. Behind them, you had Stanek, Westerway, Mr. Archer and Smith continuing this battle. We've spoken about it 3 times so far in this race. It was just, you couldn't take your eyes off it. 4 cars going toe-to-toe. You can see there, Mr. Archer and Smith pushing each other as hard as they could down into Honda, holding on to position. No one really passing each other, but there were plenty of attempts made, and Stanek, who had managed to get through into this 4th place in the race, was just unable to run away from them. In the final stages, Cameron Bella looked like he had a car that was strong enough to get past Lewis Williams. He just could not find the right track position to make the move. You can see here Lewis Williams forced to defend again down into MG. He must have been getting sick of seeing the green Porsche right behind him, but ultimately Bella had no response to Lewis Williams and the guys would have to settle for 2nd and 3rd place respectively. But at the end of the weekend, the end of the final race, it was Kane Rose in the Melbourne's cheapest cars, Porsche 944s, who would take out the race victory. 3 from 3 for the weekend. 8 seconds his lead over Chris Lewis Williams coming home in 2nd place. Cameron Bella 3rd. 4th was John Stanek and 5th was Tony Westerway. A great weekend of racing from the Porsche 944 Challenge presented by Frankie. After the race meeting, I caught up with Cameron Bella down in the pits to get his thoughts on 3rd place in the weekend. After a fantastic battle in that final race, Cameron Bella's coming out 3rd place. Cameron, you and Chris Lewis Williams going toe-to-toe in that race was absolutely magical to watch. How was it inside the car?
Yeah, it was magical as well. Me and Chris always have good fights, at the front there. Unfortunately, it wasn't 1st and 2nd this time. Rosie was bloody fast and we didn't really have an answer for him, so yeah.
I know it was you 3 last round at Sandown, and it's pretty much been you 3 a lot of the time throughout the year fighting with each other. Do you feel confident now to try to make that next step and just beat those 2 home?
Yeah, I really want to, but based on results today, Rosie's going to be hard to beat. He's dropped a 2nd since last time, really. So Yeah, we know with Chris we can almost get him every time. He gets us always on the straights and stuff, but we're close to him. But Rosie just stepped the bar up again, so.
Well, it's all that time of pushing forward. What would you take away from this round? I mean, there's a lot of learning that happens every time. Following Lewis Williams around, there's got to be something you can use against them now.
Yeah, we're just not fast enough. That's pretty much what you learn. Look, their straight line speed's a bit higher than mine, I think. Rosie's really fast up through the back sections and stuff. So yeah, we can learn from that and just hope for the best.
Now, I know everybody was cheering on top of the grandstand watching you and Chris Lewis Williams go toe-to-toe. Is there anyone behind the scenes, that you'd like to thank? A lot of people put hard work into this car.
Yeah, look, Plaza Auto Sales in Bendigo, a Porsche part, of course Frankie for the sponsorship there, Bella Motorsport, and yeah, that's about it really.
Well, now going into the last round, what's the plan?
Go away, sort of try and work on the car again, and just come back with something better, hopefully.
Well, hopefully we see you again on one of the top 3 steps, maybe the top step at the last round.
Definitely. Thank you, guys.
Well, congratulations. There you go. That's Cameron Bella, 3rd place this round out. He'll be looking to move forward again into this final round of the season. 2nd place on the weekend goes to Chris Lewis Williams. Chris, we're used to seeing you at the front. You're battling this time again with Cameron Bella. That battle was just intense. Got home for 2nd place. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Good weekend. We wrapped up Vic State Series. We've got to do the points, but I think we've wrapped up 9 for 4 as well. But Kane Rose, wow, what a jet. We got some work to do. We thought we were doing very similar times to what we did last time we were here. But yeah, Kane out of the box was very fast, so we're going to put our thinking caps on and find some speed.
I know last round both Kane Rose and Cameron Bella were on you at Sandown. They had a lot of speed there as well, so I guess not surprising that Rose has got so much speed here.
Yeah, mate, I guess the gap's the scary thing. If it was a few tenths here or there, you put together a good lap and you're there, but it's 8 tenths, 2nd and a half. So he's got the car running really well, and he's a great driver. He's won this series before, so off we go to the drawing board and find some seconds.
Now, you've wrapped up the championship, though. That's the important thing. Cameron Bella, of course, was a major rival for that. How was it swapping places with him all the way around the circuit? I mean, you were diving on each other at the hay shed, turn 1. It was pretty much open slather for you two.
Yeah, look, Cam's a quality racer, tough but fair. He leaves room. You know that he's not going to do anything silly. And so they're the guys you can race with all day. You know that you leave room and he leaves room and you can have a great race. And that's what we tried to put on today. So he's a good guy and good young driver. And, it's great to have those guys in our series.
Now, I know there's a lot of guys behind the scenes. Anyone in particular you'd like to thank for coming out and racing? Yeah,
so all the guys at High Talk Performance again, Dwayne, Tim, Stewie and Dave, they continue to present beautiful car that goes fast. My work sponsors through work, so G-Floor, Sadua, Rocket Digital, Frankie sponsored us, make really nice taps apparently, so if you need to update your bathroom, go and have a look at their website. But we've got some great guys in and around our series, and again, you guys supporting our series and getting us on the TV, it's just helping the series. So it's another great race weekend for 9 for 4 Challenge.
Well, congratulations again on 2nd place. Hopefully in the last round you can come back on them.
We'll see how we go. Thanks, Daniel.
There you go, Chris Lewis Williams, 2nd place this weekend. He'll be looking for redemption and another victory at the final round. That's it for the penultimate round of the Porsche 944 Championship. We're here at Phillip Island. Kane Rose has come out on top. Kane, 3 race victories, pole. You can't do much better than that.
Yeah, the Melbourne Supercars Porsche had a good weekend, and we put a lot of work into this weekend to make it happen. So we're absolutely over the moon about the result, and it's been really good.
Now, we've seen you there or thereabouts all year, up in that top 4 or 5, battling for the victories as well. But this weekend, you just blew them away. What's changed?
We've gone top of the car now, basically. Yeah. We've changed quite a bit to it, and finally got it on the pace. So we've only done a couple of rounds through the year, and now we've got a competitive car. We're keen to do a lot more with it.
Now, it must have been great to look in the rearview mirror and see that battle slowing each other down behind. You were just eking that gap out. Did you just feel like they were never going to catch you?
It's always, in any class, the top group is always quick, so you can't be naive and think you're going to drive away with it. But we've been trying to improve the car regardless of where we are in comparison to the field all weekend, and we were able to do that, so that's probably the most rewarding thing. It was really good to see that. So.
Now, next year, what's the goal? The championship must be on the cards now. Take it to all the guys in front of you, Chris and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it's probably a little hard to do a championship because we're actually sharing the car between 2 of us. So my brother and I both share it. So, we just want to bring it out when we can and be competitive and be at the right end of the field. So it's really good.
Well, congratulations. I know there's a lot of people who put in a lot of work behind the scenes. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, big thanks to Melbourne Shooters Cars. They make it happen for us. And my dad, brother, and Ash Shearwood is putting a lot of work with the car. So it was great to see a result this weekend.
Well, congratulations again. Hopefully we see more of you in the future.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you.
There you go. That's the penultimate round, for the Victorian Porsche 944s wrapped up. Kane Rose, our victor, well and truly on top all weekend. We'll see what happens again in the final round back here at Phillip Island at the end of November.